left to investigate, at least for criminal liability. I will say this, though. Joe Biden may come to regret this decision because having given his son a blanket pardon of 11 years to include time when Joe Biden was vice president.
That's Republican Senator and Harvard graduate Tom Cotton telling Fox News why Joe Biden just shot himself in the foot by pardoning his son Hunter. Welcome to Nerk News, I'm Nerkish, and if there's one thing Biden is known for, it's his capacity to royally screw things up for his party, which fortunately for Republicans and the American people, he appears to be quite good at. And the best part is, it appears he might not be done yet. Here's Tom Cotton discussing how Biden may have just royally screwed himself.
Hunter Biden now can't plead the fifth if he appears before Congress or appears before a grand jury. He has to testify about exactly what he was up to, for instance, when he was traveling to China on Air Force Two and meeting with Chinese communist princelings, or why he was being paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to sit on a Ukrainian energy company's board for which he had no qualifications. So that may be one unintended consequence of this pardon that Joe Biden didn't fully think through.
Now, this isn't just some wild theory Cotton is talking about here. It's looking like a serious concern for Biden if his son's called to testify before Congress, which is seeming more and more likely given the state of the investigation into Hunter and the big guy. Here's House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer basically stating as much.
Part of this, and sorry to interrupt, but part of this broad pardon here means that Hunter can no longer claim the fifth. You can't claim the fifth. You can't incriminate yourself if you've been pardoned, obviously. My question to you is, do you have any plans for Hunter Biden knowing this?
Well, I look forward to talking to Attorney General Bondi about this. We still have information that we've requested that we've never received. The White House is still, to this day, obstructing rightful evidence that we should have obtained. The White House has instructed the National Archives not to turn over all those pseudonym emails, Rob. We still don't have the pseudonym emails, which we believe will show Joe Biden was communicating secretly with the shady associates that were a part of the money laundering scheme with the money from our adversaries around the world. And when you
Now, where does this leave Biden, who definitely seems like he was attempting to cover his own rear with those dates listed in the pardon? Well, according to former Assistant U.S. Attorney Andy McCarthy, it leaves him with a pretty extreme and even more incriminating option.
Well, I think you're going to see more pardons, but they're going to happen before Trump gets in. The only sense I can make, Sandra, out of the structure of Hunter Biden's pardon is that President Biden has to pardon other people who were involved in what we've called the Biden influence peddling scheme that went on for so many years. Otherwise, the pardon doesn't make sense to me. The scandalous pardons happen when a failed president is on his way out the door. And these pardons happened early because they didn't want Hunter to get sentenced and have the judgment of conviction entered, which is what would have started to happen next week. What they're obviously worried about is an investigation by the Trump Justice Department of this scheme. But by giving Hunter this pardon, what you've done is immunized him. He now has no Fifth Amendment privilege, which means if they're really worried about a Trump Justice Department investigation, they could bring Hunter into the grand jury and make him testify about everybody else who was involved in the scheme. So if what you're really worried about, which is what Biden appears to be worried about, is that kind of investigation, which looks into the things, especially 2014 through 2016, that the Biden Justice Department didn't look at, it doesn't make sense to pardon only Hunter. You'd have to pardon everybody.
You know, as insane as it sounds to have Biden issue mass pardons like that, I don't really think it's that unlikely. The only real question is how will it float with American voters and establishment media figures who already seem pretty incredulous about Biden's selfishness exposing them as hacks and making their puppet masters look bad. The only thing we know for sure is the next 4 years are going to be a wild ride. But let me know what you think. Will Biden issue mass pardons? And if he does, will establishment media hacks carry water for him or throw him under the bus? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. That stuff really does help us out. Until then, this has been Nerk News. Thanks for watching. Bye.